Good morning. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you had a good Shabbos. We worked out that for our family, that was our sixth Shabbos without shul, which is quite a thing, especially for a rabbi. It's very strange, and I'm not quite sure when shul will be allowed to resume, even after lockdown. So we have been thinking about different ways of obviously davening together, recreating the shul experience in our own home, and in the absence of reading the Torah, we put a little bit more emphasis on going into the detail of what the parasha is all about. So yesterday we were talking about the fact that a big section of yesterday's Torah reading focused on kosher animals, birds, fish, insects. And of course it stimulated a conversation, and one of the children said, well, if people would keep kosher, we would never have had COVID-19. Of course, referring to the fact that it tracks back to the wet markets in China and to bats and pangolins, which then reminded me of something that a person sent me already a couple of weeks ago, that if you think about it, all of these major epidemics of the last few years have tracked back to similar things outside of avian flu, which is from geese. Swine flu needs no explanation. The SARS virus was related also to bats and to civet cats. And the MERS, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, was tracked back to the Dromaeosaurus camel. So I thought that was quite an interesting point. Sometimes we just take things for granted, but what you eat really does make a difference. And I was thinking, here we are at home. We have a lot of extra time on our hands. It's a time to be introspective. Restaurants and fast food places are closed. So we are reassessing as it is our eating habits. And I know I've spoken to people over the last few days, and they're debating whether or not they're going to rush back into the restaurant and fast food environment. Because the truth is, now that you think about it, you wonder how hygienic are those places anyway. So I think this is a really good time for each of us to think about kosher. And I'm not saying to go 100% kosher, but if you consider the very direct link between the pandemic now and eating habits, and specifically non-kosher foods, and it struck me yesterday when one of the things on the list of non-kosher is bats, and you think, who would eat bats? Actually, that's how the conversation started yesterday. Who would eat bats? Oh, actually. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to pause and for each of us to think of one area of keeping kosher that we could undertake during this lockdown, in the merit of which we hope to have the bracha of good health, and please God of protection, and please God of a very imminent end to this pandemic. So you don't have to go the whole cow. I wouldn't say the other expression, it's not appropriate. But one extra step of keeping kosher, I think is very appropriate at this time. I hope that you're keeping well and the kids are looking forward to going back to school. Perhaps this is the new normal, maybe this is how schools are going to be. Whatever it is, please God, it should be a good week and a successful week. Stay safe and stay sane.